There is something about pressure that terrifies people, the tightening, the uncertainty, the feeling that everything is closing in at once. It feels like you're being crushed. It feels like the weight is too much. But hear me clearly, pressure does not arrive to destroy you. It arrives to reveal you. Gold does not fear the fire. The fire exposes its purity. Without heat, it remains ordinary rock buried in the dirt. With heat, it shines. And if you are in the fire right now, it is not proof that you are forgotten. It is proof that you are being refined. Pressure reveals what comfort conceals. When everything is easy, anyone can smile. When doors are open, anyone can walk through them. When applause is loud, anyone can stand tall. But when opposition rises, when critics speak, when resources are limited and the path forward looks impossible, that is when your true character steps forward. That is when purpose begins to speak. You do not discover your strength on the mountaintop. You discover it in the valley. The storm strips away pretenses. It burns off insecurity. It forces you to decide who you are and what you believe. And in that moment, when you could quit but choose to stand, something powerful is born inside of you. Courage, conviction, clarity. Diamonds are formed under crushing pressure deep beneath the earth. If they could speak, they might say the weight is unbearable. But without that weight, they would never sparkle. And without the pressure in your life, the brilliance within you would never be seen. What you call too much may actually be just enough to push you into your calling. The pressure you're feeling is stretching your capacity. It is building endurance in your spirit. It is teaching you to trust your inner strength instead of your outer comfort. And when the season of testing is over, you will not emerge weaker. You will emerge wiser, sharper, stronger. Do not curse the pressure, understand it. Because when life squeezes you, what is inside of you comes out. If fear is inside, fear will rise. But if faith is inside, faith will stand. If determination is inside, determination will speak. The pressure does not create your character. It exposes it. And that is why you must rise in the middle of it. Stand firm when the heat intensifies. Hold your ground when the weight increases. Remind yourself that this moment is not breaking you, it is building you. The very tension you feel today is preparing you for responsibilities you could not carry yesterday. Pressure is not your punishment. It is your preparation. And when you understand that, you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And you start declaring, "This is shaping me for something greater." That is when you stop surviving the storm and start rising through it. Most people pray for the storm to stop. They beg for the winds to calm. They ask for the pressure to ease. But what if the wind you're fighting is the very wind designed to lift you? The eagle does not flap frantically when the storm arrives. It does not search for shelter in panic. It waits. And when the winds begin to rise, it stretches its wings and locks them in place. The force that terrifies every other creature becomes the power that carries it above the clouds. That is not instinct by accident. That is design by intention. And you were designed the same way. The opposition you face is not random. The resistance you feel is not meaningless. Resistance builds strength, wind creates lift, friction produces fire. If there were no pressure against you, there would be no elevation for you. Stop asking, "How do I escape this?" and start asking, "How do I use this?" When criticism comes, use it as fuel to sharpen your discipline. When rejection comes, let it redirect you to a better door. When delays come, use that time to prepare, to grow, to develop skills that success will require later. The storm is not an interruption of your purpose, it is part of the process. You cannot rise if nothing pushes against you. An airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. The stronger the headwind, the greater the lift. What feels like opposition may actually be divine positioning. What feels like blockage may actually be alignment. The key is perspective. If you focus on the noise of the wind, you will panic. If you focus on the lift of the wind, you will rise. The same circumstance can either defeat you or develop you. The difference is not in the storm, it is in your mindset. There is power in refusing to be intimidated. When others shrink back, you stand firm. When others complain, you calculate. When others see chaos, you look for opportunity. You say, "This will not bury me. This will build me. This will not drown me. This will drive me higher." The storm can only control you if you bow to it. But when you spread your wings, when you decide that fear will not dictate your future, something extraordinary happens. The very winds that tried to push you down begin to push you up. The pressure becomes propulsion. The resistance becomes momentum. And suddenly, you find yourself above what once overwhelmed you, above the doubt, above the noise, above the fear. The storm is still raging below, but it no longer has access to your altitude. That is what it means to rise above it. You cannot always control what comes against you, but you will always control what comes out of you. Life will hand you situations you did not request. Doors will close without explanation. People will misunderstand you. Opportunities will slip through your fingers. The storm will arrive unannounced. But hear this clearly, the storm does not decide your altitude. Your response does. Two people can stand in the same rain. One curses the mud, the other plants a seed. The circumstance is identical. The outcome is not. Your reaction is the steering wheel of your destiny. If you allow anger to drive, you will crash. If you allow fear to navigate, you will stall. But if you choose faith, discipline, and determination to take the wheel, you will move forward even when the road is rough. Complaining keeps you grounded, conviction makes you climb, every obstacle asks you a question, will you bow or will you build? And in that moment, your answer shapes your future. When pressure increases, you can either tighten in panic or strengthen in resolve. When criticism strikes, you can either crumble under it or correct yourself and come back sharper. Your response determines whether the mountain becomes a monument to your defeat or a platform for your victory. Understand this attitude is altitude. If you see every delay as denial, you will grow bitter. But if you see delay as development, you will grow stronger. If you see opposition as proof you should quit, you will retreat. But if you see opposition as confirmation that you are moving in the right direction, you will advance with boldness. Perspective transforms everything. From ground level, your problems look enormous. They tower over you. They intimidate you, but when you rise in mindset, when you lift your thinking above the moment, what once looked impossible becomes manageable. What once looked permanent becomes temporary. Strength is not built when life is easy. It is built when you decide to stand firm in the middle of difficulty. When the pressure hits, pause before you react. Choose your response deliberately. Speak life when negativity surrounds you. Take action when fear tells you to freeze. Move forward when doubt says stay still. Because every time you respond with courage instead of cowardice, you rise. Every time you choose discipline over despair, you rise. Every time you refuse to let circumstances define your identity, you rise. And eventually, you will look back at the very thing that tried to hold you down and realize it only revealed how high you were capable of going. Failure has a voice. It whispers, "It's over, you tried, you lost, sit down." It wants to brand you with one mistake. It wants to convince you that one setback is your identity. But failure is not your final chapter. It is a rough draft. Every great victory has a history of setbacks behind it. A sword is not forged in a single strike of the hammer. It is heated, struck, reheated, and struck again, over and over. What looks like punishment is actually precision. What looks like destruction is actually design. The hammer is not trying to break the steel, it is shaping it into something powerful. And when life strikes you, it is not always a sign you are disqualified. It may be a sign you are being developed. Failure is refinement. It strips away arrogance. It exposes weakness. It teaches lessons success never could. When you succeed too quickly, you may grow careless. But when you stumble, you learn to watch your steps. When you fall, you learn where the ground is uneven. When you fail, you gain wisdom that applause can never give. Do not despise the lesson because it came wrapped in disappointment. The greatest comeback stories are written by people who refused to let one defeat define their destiny. They understood something powerful, that falling is an event, not an identity. Losing is an experience, not a life sentence. You are not finished because you failed. You are finished only if you refuse to rise again. Setbacks build stamina. They teach endurance. They force you to develop grit. And grit is what separates those who wish from those who win. Anyone can start strong. Few can continue after a setback. That continuation, that refusal to quit, is where greatness is born. Every time you stand back up, you send a message to your future. I am still here. Every time you try again, you strengthen your resolve. Every time you refuse to surrender, you turn your setback into a stepping stone. Failure is a classroom. The question is not whether you will face it. The question is whether you will learn from it. If you extract the lesson, the failure loses its power. It becomes tuition for wisdom. It becomes preparation for promotion. And one day, the very thing that embarrassed you will empower you. The mistake that humbled you will strengthen you. The closed door that frustrated you will redirect you to a greater opportunity. Because failure does not have the final word. Resilience does. Determination does. The courage to rise again does. There comes a defining moment in every life when surrender seems easier than standing, when quitting feels logical, when the weight of responsibility, expectation, and exhaustion presses so heavily on your shoulders that giving up looks like relief. But you were not created for surrender. There is something inside you that refuses to stay down. Call it resilience, call it determination, call it purpose. Whatever name you give it, it is the unbreakable core of who you are. It is the fire that flickers even when the winds rage. It is the voice that whispers, "Get up," when everything around you says, "Stay down." Hardship does not cancel your destiny, it challenges your commitment to it. Steel does not become strong by being left alone. It is tested, it is pressured, it is proven, and the same is true for you. If your path were easy, you would never discover the depth of your strength. If your journey were smooth, you would never develop endurance. Difficulty is not evidence that you are weak. It is the arena where your strength is revealed. Inside you is more power than you have yet seen. You have survived days you once thought would break you. You have endured moments that felt unbearable. You have stood in storms that should have knocked you flat, and yet here you are. Breathing, standing, moving forward, that is not weakness. That is proof of strength. The enemy of your progress is not the obstacle in front of you, it is the doubt within you. The moment you believe you cannot continue is the moment you begin to sink. But the moment you declare, "I was built for this," something shifts. Your posture changes, your mindset sharpens, your steps grow firmer. You stop surviving and start advancing. Strength is not loud, it is steady. It is the quiet decision to try one more time, to take one more step, to believe one more day. It is the refusal to let temporary pain produce permanent surrender. You were engineered to overcome. Your spirit was designed to stretch beyond limits. Your mind was given the ability to adapt. Your heart was built to endure. And when pressure rises, it does not mean you are incapable. It means you are being called higher. Do not underestimate what you carry within you. There is courage in you that has not yet been fully awakened. There is perseverance in you that has not yet been fully tested. And when you tap into it, when you decide that quitting is no longer an option, you step into a level of strength you did not know you possessed. You are not meant to merely survive the storm. You are meant to walk through it with your head high, your shoulders back, and your resolve unshaken. Because surrender may feel easy in the moment, but rising is who you are. And when the storm has spent its fury, when the fire has finished its work, when the pressure has done all it can do, you will still be standing. Not because it was easy, not because you never felt fear, not because you were never shaken, but because you refused to surrender. You chose to let pressure reveal your purpose. You chose to let the storm elevate you instead of intimidate you. You chose to respond with courage when circumstances demanded compromise. You chose to treat failure as refinement, not finality. You chose to believe that you were built to overcome, and that choice changes everything. One day, you will look back at this season, the sleepless nights, the silent battles, the moments when quitting seemed reasonable, and you will realize they were not sent to stop you. They were sent to strengthen you. They were the training ground for your next level. The storm did not break you. It built you. The fire did not consume you. It clarified you. The pressure did not crush you. It crowned you. So stand tall, lift your head, fix your eyes forward. The same winds that once threatened you are now beneath your wings. The same mountain that once intimidated you is now beneath your feet. You did not just survive it, you rose above it.